A 30 billion parameter coding agent running in 14 gigabytes of memory, not a chatbot. It picked a real open source repository, hunted for a real bug, and did not stop for 5 minutes. Evidence, a reproduction, a fix, tests, then a pull request write-up for a human to read. Unsloth counted over 100 tool calls back to back with nothing leaving the machine. The model is Muse Glimmer. Meta shipped it open, Apache 2.0, on the 10th of August. Meta built it for a 24 gigabyte graphics card. That envelope is Meta's own number. Unsloth squeezed it into 14 gigabytes of ordinary system memory, and the agent still ran. So there are 2 questions on the table, and the second one is the one launch post skip. 1. How does a 30 billion parameter model fit in 14 gigabytes without becoming word salad? 2. What did you give up to get it down there? Something was given up, and it is measurable. I have numbers for both, including an independent test that broke this model in 3 places. Start with what Meta actually shipped, because the architecture is where the trick begins. Muse Glimmer came out of Meta Superintelligence Labs on the 10th of August. It is dense, not a mixture of experts, and by current standards it is a small model, around 30 billion parameters with a 1.8 billion parameter perception encoder attached so it can look at images. 52 layers, 131,000 tokens of context on the card, and an Apache 2.0 license. It was not trained from scratch either. Meta distilled it out of Muse Spark, their closed frontier model, using Logit Distillation. The student is doing something stranger than copying Spark's answers. It learns to match the whole probability distribution Spark puts on every next token, which is how you compress judgment into a model small enough to sit on your desk, and it was built as an agent, not a chat model. Meta's own words, it handles a wide range of function calls, invoking tools with precise schemas throughout extended workflows. There is even a reasoning effort dial, from low up to extra high. Meta published a scorecard against the 2 models you would otherwise run at this size, Gemma 4 and Qwen 3.6. On MCP Atlas, the benchmark for calling tools through a protocol, Glimmer scores 75.5, Gemma gets 54.2, Qwen gets 62.5. On SWE Bench Pro, it takes 51.2 against Qwen's 50.2, but drop 2 rows and the story flips. Qwen wins SWE Bench Verified, 77.2 to 76. Qwen wins Terminal Bench, 60.7 to 51.7. These are Meta's own numbers, on Meta's own page, so Glimmer does not win on raw coding at this size. What it wins is tool calling, and those are 2 different jobs. If your work is one clever function, run Qwen. If your work is 40 steps with a file system and a browser in the middle, that MCP Atlas gap is the one that pays you back, which brings us to memory, because none of it matters if the thing will not load. Meta is blunt here. At full precision, a 30 billion parameter model needs over 55 gigabytes. Their shipped answer squeezes that under 20, and asks for a 24 or 32 gigabyte envelope. Unsloth's version of that answer is a ladder, and you can read the whole thing on the model page. 16-bit, 55.7 gigabytes, 8-bit, 29.6, 4-bit, 15.9, and on the bottom rung, 2-bit, 12.4 gigabytes on disk. 2-bit is normally where these things go to die. Give every layer the same 2 bits, and the model stops being a model. Unsloth's own write-up says other 1 and 2-bit builds either failed to load outright or produced looping gibberish, which will sound familiar if you have ever tried this at home. Their fix is to stop treating layers as equals. Dynamic Quantization inspects each layer and picks a precision for that layer. The embeddings and the first and last attention blocks carry the structure everything else leans on, so those stay fat and the middle gets crushed. Does that actually hold up? There is a published receipt, and it is worth being precise about what it measures, because these numbers are not from Glimmer at all. Unsloth ran a 671 gigabyte DeepSeek build through the Aider Polyglot coding test at every rung of the same ladder. Full precision scores 71.6%. The 4-bit dynamic build scores 69.7. The 2-bit build scores 65.8. That is a drop of 5.8 points, real and not a collapse. And the comparison that matters is not 2-bit against full precision. It is 2-bit against the other 2-bit. A competing quantization at a similar file size scored 56.6. Same bit budget, 9 points apart purely from choosing which layers to protect. So the 2-bit tax is about 6 points of a coding benchmark, charged on a model that otherwise does not run on your machine at all. Unsloth's own table asks for 12 to 14 gigabytes for that build, 17 for 4-bit, 58 for full precision. One warning before you go and download it. The file size is not the requirement. The key value cache wants memory. The perception encoder wants memory. The speculative decoding drafter wants memory. All three sit beside the weights, and all three grow with the context you actually use. Which is why, in the demo everyone is sharing, the context counter in the corner reads 1.4 thousand out of 131,000. The window is enormous. The room you have to fill it is not. Here is the run itself. That is Unsloth's own desktop app, and the header names the exact build. Muse Glimmer 30B, GGUF, UDQ2KXL, the 2-bit one, the 14GB one. The task is deliberately mean. Find a real bug in the Unsloth repository. It has to be reproducible locally, with no private credentials, no paid API, no GPU, and it has to be recent. It searches the issue tracker and builds a shortlist, an index error on multi-image input, a resume training button that vanishes after stop and save, a model that will not load despite the right package installed, a version string that reports the wrong thing. Then it does the thing that separates an agent from a search box. It reasons about which bug it can actually prove. Its own note on screen. Better candidates look for a bug with code logic, not user interface, because a UI bug cannot be reproduced from a terminal. And then it catches itself. Mid-run, the thinking block reads, the instruction is strict, must actually use tools to inspect files, must actually execute Python for reproduction and tests. Do not fake citations. It is arguing itself out of writing a plausible answer. It tries curl. Curl is blocked. It notices, reasons that curl is blocked, and routes around the block through the search tool to pull the raw file instead. That recovery is the capability Meta put on the box, happening at 2-bit precision. Watch the page it pulls back, because the repository header comes through with a live star count and fork count. 69.8 thousand stars, 6.3 thousand forks. I pulled the same repository from the GitHub API today, and it returned 69,868. It was reading the live web. It settles on the version mismatch, and it does not stop at a description. It writes a regression test, an assert comparing the package version on disk against the version the library reports, and it states that the test must fail before the fix. That is the pull request write-up Unsloth is talking about. Now the part the launch post leaves out, and it is the part that decides whether you keep using this. Speed. One independent hands-on test went up the same day. MacBook Pro, M4 Pro, 24 gigabytes of unified memory, running llama.cpp. Text decoding came out at 10.13 tokens a second. Call it 7 words a second, about the pace you read out loud. That sounds survivable until you remember what one agent turn actually is. A huge prompt, hidden reasoning, several model calls, tool output stuff back in. Full tasks in that test took 4 to 7 minutes each. The speculative decoder exists to fix exactly that, and on that Mac it made things worse. 6.73 tokens a second with the drafter switched on, 33.5% slower than running without it. The reason sits in the accept rate. Only 211 of 648 drafts were kept. On an RTX 5090, Unsloth measures that same feature running 3.1 times faster. Same switch, opposite result, and the difference is your hardware. Vision is worse again. 2.61 tokens a second, and one user interface screenshot took 4.5 minutes to read. A screenshot task timed out at 10 minutes and failed outright. And here is the failure I would actually lose sleep over. Asked to copy 4 files, it reported that the copies were exact. They were not. Every one had lost its final new line, and a SHA-256 comparison showed each copy was 1 byte shorter than the original. One thing to be fair about, that test ran the 17GB quantization, not the 2-bit one. There is no published tokens per second number for the 14GB build that I could find. Unsloth's claim is about tool calls and memory, not throughput, and those are not the same claim. Then there is the part where a local agent has your shell. On the prompt injection benchmark in Meta's own table, the attack success rate is 28.4. Gemma sits lower at 25.6. Roughly 1 attempt in 4 talks it into something. The other half of this is that you can train it. Unsloth's guide points at LoRa and QLoRa rather than full fine-tuning, and the dataset shape is the interesting part. Tool descriptions, correct function calls, tool outputs, recovery from failures, permission handling. That is a training set that teaches behavior, not knowledge, which means the failures I just listed are trainable. A lost new line is a discipline problem, and discipline is what a few thousand examples of your own workflows are for. So, the verdict. If you have 12 to 14 gigabytes free, and you want an agent that never leaves your machine, this is the first one I would put on my own machine, and the 2-bit build is the one to take. If you want the best coding score at this size, take Quinn. If you want speed, none of this is for you yet. The number that stays with me is not a benchmark. It is that accept rate. The model is ready and everything around it is early. So the question is not whether a 14 gigabyte agent can do your work. It is this: what is left on your cloud bill once it can?